According to leaker Jon Prosser, it looks like the 2021 iMac isn't the only new machine to gain some new color options, as it appears that a redesigned MacBook Air might be on its way. What you're looking at right now are renders from Jon Prosser that he claims are accurate and what we can expect to see in the next generation MacBook Air based on leaked images. Prosser's renders are purportedly closely based on leaked images of a MacBook Air's aluminum enclosure. Prosser said that he came to the conclusion that the leaked images showed a MacBook Air due to its ultra slim profile and that they were different compared to leaked schematics showing the next generation MacBook Pro models. The design of this alleged new MacBook Air will no longer feature tapered edges and will share some same design elements from the new iMac, like white bezels and a white keyboard. The machines will come with two USB-C ports, one located on each side of the machine, and Prosser did claim that a MagSafe port was not visible in the leaked images. Now, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman did say that the next Air and Pro models would feature the return of MagSafe, and so it's possible that these schematics just didn't feature the MagSafe port, and so it could still happen. Some other notable changes from Prosser include a new bottom to the machine, featuring two long rubber strips instead of the 4 rubber feet, one in each corner that we're used to seeing. Now, the bottom of the MacBook Air render is said to be more accurate than the top half. The display and the size of its bezels are not really yet known and are just purely speculative, but Prosser said that just like the 24-inch iMac, the new MacBook Air will feature white bezels. And then, of course, one of the more significant changes that we could expect to see will be the range of colors offered on the new MacBook Air for the first time. Prosser gained knowledge of at least a blue and a green MacBook Air, but there will be other color options that will probably mirror the 24-inch iMac's color palette. Honestly, while we have to take all of this information with a grain of salt, they are rumors after all, Prosser did correctly state that the iMac was going to come in a variety of different colors, which we saw just a few weeks ago that it is in fact coming in a bunch of different colors. And from a marketing perspective, and just my opinion, it does kind of make sense for the Air to follow suit. The MacBook Air and iMac are considered the non-pro, everyday average consumer type of machines, and for Apple to make them similar in as many aspects as possible would be a good idea from a consistency perspective. Now, Prosser said that the redesigned MacBook Air will launch toward the end of 2021 if it launches this year at all. This is very similar to the time frame outlined by Mark Gurman, who said that Apple plans to release a new MacBook Air during the second half of this year at the earliest, or at least in 2022. Considering that rumors also point to this machine coming with Apple's follow-up to the M1 chip, presumably called the M2 chip, which we also made a video about going in the new MacBook Pros that should be coming out later this year, and considering that rumors for that machine are pointing to a release date potentially later in 2021, it makes sense that the MacBook Pro would get the M2 chip first, and the Air would either follow shortly after, or they could be released alongside each other. But I don't think the Air would come out with the M2 chip before the MacBook Pro. But these are just my thoughts. I don't know anything personally on that aspect. But from these renders, I really do like the look, especially with the white complementing the colors. Now, I hope Apple doesn't really do a pastel version on like the front or the inside of the MacBook Air like they did with the iMac. I hope it's just one solid color throughout. Like the renders here, these look great. And if the white bezels are slim, then the white bezel and the keyboard would look really cool. And it kind of just takes me back to those old MacBook days, except a lot cleaner and more updated looking. So yeah, I'd be totally on board with this design change. I also like the removal of the tapered frame or those edges. I never really liked that. I prefer the same edges throughout, similar to something like you would see on MacBook Pro models. Of course, I'd love to know your thoughts on these potential new design changes and the new colors. What are you looking for? What color would you pick up? Let me know in those comments down below. This has been Dan with Mac Rumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you around in the next video.